Liberal activists are up in arms after the NYPD shot and killed a man. I'm going to tell you why they're morons and wrong, and the NYPD did everything it was supposed to do. There's been a lot of news on this shooting, but I wanted to wait and give you an after-action report after all of the evidence was in, because my sources in the NYPD, really my old partners, were telling me there was a lot more to this than the media was letting on. And now we have video of the incident, not of the shooting, but we have video of what led up to the shooting of Saheed Vassell. Now, Vassell was running around pointing what looked like a firearm at people. It turned out to be the long section of a crack pipe. Basically, I've got a crackhead running around pointing what appears to be a cylindrical long metal object consistent with that of a gun barrel at people. Now, this happened in Brooklyn's Crown Heights neighborhood. Crown Heights, if you go back 20, 25 years, was a very volatile place. The black community and the Hasidic Jewish community were at war because a Hasidic guy named Yankel Rosenbaum ran over a young black kid. He stopped his vehicle to help him. When he got out of his vehicle, the black crowd surrounded him and stabbed him to death, and there were these really, really violent riots in Crown Heights. And since then, it's always been a powder keg. It's always been a place with a very short fuse just waiting to go off. And Rosenbaum was an innocent victim. So was the little boy. But he stopped his car. It was a tragic accident that turned into an intentional homicide. It was a terrible, terrible incident, terrible time in the city. But, and I'll be flamed for it, I have to blame the black community on that one. They took a driver out of his car and killed him for no reason. For no reason over a traffic accident, a tragic one, but not something that warranted summary execution. Now, the black community in Brooklyn has always been anti-police, but it's also one of the most crime-ridden communities in the world. When I give you that crime data, I talk about census tracts. If you go to certain areas of Brooklyn, East New York, Crown Heights, and you go into the African-American areas, crime is off the charts. It's 10, 15, 20 times the national average in these neighborhoods. So there's a problem. There's a crime problem, very similar to the area I worked in the Bronx. And I was detailed out to Brooklyn for a couple of things. Didn't spend much time there, but New York City's New York City. The dynamics in the neighborhoods are very, very similar. A lot of gangs that'll work in the Bronx go down to Brooklyn and come right back up. It's an hour drive. Now, the situation was this guy's walking around. He's pointing something at people. 4 plainclothes and 2 uniformed officers responded. Those plainclothes officers are most likely the precinct's anti-crime unit. What they do is they drive around plainclothes and unmarked cars, and they look for situations like this. Typically, they focus on armed robberies and what we call gun runs, a call for a man with a gun, woman with a gun, primarily men. 99% were men with a gun. The officers responded. They saw this guy doing what he was doing, pointing this long metal cylindrical object at people, at passersby, at one point taking a two-handed shooting stance. When he was doing so, the officers let 10 rounds go, and those rounds killed Saheed Vassell, 34 years old. It hit him in the head. It was said to hit in the brain, the aorta, and the spine. Side note, that was some of the best marksmanship the NYPD has exhibited in a very, very long time. And I say that not to joke around. I say that because it's important. New York City is a densely populated place. If the NYPD or any other department in a large city chooses to deploy deadly force, meaning draw their firearms and let rounds go, you want them to be true to their mark. There are a lot of people walking around, a lot of multi-level buildings, a lot of windows where those stray bullets can hit an innocent person. So this was some good shooting by the NYPD, which increased public safety. They took down a bad guy. They increased public safety. Now, predictably, the black community in Crown Heights went nuts. I'm reading a story here from Fox News. There's a woman with a sign that says, "Without consequences, police murders will continue." No, it's not a police murder. And let me explain why. Now, this guy, Ramel Johnson from the neighborhood, they need to lose their jobs and they need to be put in jail. The same as if someone kills a cop. Now, this assertion is all because the guy pointed what looked like a gun at people. That's a crime. That warrants the use of deadly force by the police. And I'm going to go in very, very deep. I'm going to give you all the intricate details on my longer show, Off the Cuff Declassified, today, right here on The Rebel. This is really important content because the minutia, the intricacy of these events is sometimes lost in the mainstream media. I've been involved in shooting incidents. I've responded to many of these. I'm going to give you every little detail and explain why the cops did right. And I want to be able to do things like that for you every day. So please subscribe to our premium service at www.therebel.media/shows. If you're already a subscriber, thanks very, very much. Also, go to the App Store, download the Rebel app. Great way to get all of our content. And we're still very proactive with having Florida Governor Rick Scott remove Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel. So go to our URL, firescottisrael.com, sign our petition. As always, thank you so much for watching. You have a great, great weekend. I will see you on Monday.